and gentlemen, our next speaker helps business owners go from 6 figures to 7 figures. She's your friend in the foxhole. She is the author of the best-selling book, Your First CFO. Please help me welcome Pam Pryor.
Hey, thank you, Majid. Thanks, and hi, everybody. How are you? Going to put this down over here for a minute. I want to talk to you about something I think is important to all of us. I know it's important to me, and that's money. Right? Anybody not have an interest in money, let me know, and I will do a quick change of topic here. But I'm going to talk about 2 businesses. There's one business size over here that's $100,000 or 6-figure business. And then over here there's a business that's $1 million and a $7 million business. All of us at one time or another, maybe now, have been over here on this side in the $600,000, six-figure business. And the first thing we want to do is go, yeah, I want to be over there. And there's a gap from here to there, right? And there are a number of things that you know standing right here you have to do in order to look, act, feel, and be that grown-up business. And a lot of those you know how to put in place, or there are people helping you put in place. But one of those things terrifies people, and it's the financial piece. Because people are either terrified by, scared of, or bored to tears by financials. So I want to talk about why that doesn't have to be the case and how we help fill the gap from here and get you over here where you are that grown-up business owner, even when it comes to your finances. I'm going to do that with a couple of stories. One of them is my very favorite story. I tell it so many times because it's such a catalyst for action. This person was such a catalyst for action that it inspired me. So $100,000 business owner, name is Hannah. And she's built this business on an amazing sales proposition. She's sold product after product after product. Sales are climbing, money's piling in the door. She's a little tired, she's a little worn out. She hasn't seen her husband much, she hasn't seen her kids much, and I got a phone call. Hey, can you come over and talk to me? I said, sure thing. So I come over, and I walk in the door, and what I see is Hannah at the seat with a big, bright orange Nike box in front of her. And guess what was in that Nike box? Receipts. It was overflowing with receipts. Crumpled receipts, straight receipts, easy to read receipts, dark receipts, hard receipts, light receipts. It was full, pouring out of the box. And she was just staring at it with her chin in her hands. And I said, oh, this looks like a bad day. Should we talk? She said, yes, so we sat down. And I said, what's going on? She said, I've got a great business. I really enjoy what I'm doing, but I don't know how I can go on like this. It's just too much. Nobody's here to help me. I don't understand how to grow. I know I can. I know I've got the product. I know I've got the business, but I'm stuck. So what I did was poured a couple glasses of wine, sat them down in front of us, took that box and put it out of sight, and said, all I want you to do is tell me the story of your business. And she talked, and I took notes. And when I'd finished taking notes, I closed the notebook. I said, turn around. I pulled the box out from under the table. And I said, I'm going to go now. I'll see you later. And I came back a week later with what I knew she needed. Because I did know exactly what she needed, because I had done it over and over and over again in larger companies. And it definitely applied to smaller companies. And in that moment, I knew it did. So I came back to her. An empty box. I did bring the orange box back in case she needed it, but it was empty. And a folder. One folder. And I said, okay, here it is. This is your profit plan. She said, my what? I said, your profit plan. And she opened it and stood there for a minute and said, I can't believe this. I see my story that I told you last week in those numbers. It finally, the dots are connected. I can see it. I said, good, that's all you get. Give it back to me. She said, what? I said, because the next thing we have to do is hand this to your bookkeeper. You don't have to keep this and figure out how we got here. We're going to take this and we're going to hand it to your bookkeeper and we're going to say, do this every month. And you'll get it back from your bookkeeper every month and you'll go, oh yeah, there's the story in my numbers. And then you'll give it back to your bookkeeper and they'll do it again the next month. I said, wow, that sounds a little bit too good to be true, but okay, I'm in. And sure enough, that's what happened. And the interesting thing was this didn't just happen with her bookkeeper, but this has happened with every bookkeeper that we've gone to since then with this plan, is they kind of get this thing from the owner, or from me in some cases, and they go, huh? And they look at it a minute. And then, oh. And the next thing I know, and this has surprised me every single time. Actually, it shouldn't surprise me anymore. I get a call from the bookkeeper going, would you do one of these for all my clients? So one of those times I actually asked the bookkeeper, I said, are you kidding? Don't some of your clients have CFOs, chief financial officers? He said, yeah, but not one of them is doing this. All they're doing is looking at our balance sheet, looking at the income statement, taking what I give them and just handing it to the CEO, and the CEOs are frustrated. And I said, well, sure, have them call me, we'll do it. And that's exactly what is happening to so many people moving from 6 figures to 7 figures. And I know one of those people, and her name is Rebecca. She also was sitting here like Amelia with a $100,000 business. Not sure if she had the box. It certainly wasn't an orange Nike box. That would have been too coincidental. But she decided to go it on her own and said, I've got a bookkeeper, I've got an accountant, we'll be just fine. But she didn't have a profit plan. And she wasn't fine. All of a sudden, she tried to grow too fast. She was spending money she didn't have, and she didn't know she didn't have it. And Rebecca ended up bankrupt. I talked to her 3 years later, and she had driven the company into bankruptcy. Unwittingly, it wasn't her fault. She just had no information that she could look at and say, that's my story. So what happened with Amelia? 2 years later, I called Amelia and said, hey, how's it going? She said, well, as it turns out, I knew we were going to talk today, and I'm sitting here looking at the empty Nike box, and I want to invite you over for a box burning party because we made 4.5 this year. And I thought, that's a very strange way to say 450,000, but you made $450,000. That's awesome. She said, no, we made $4.5 million this year. And I said, oh, wow. And she also said, and I loved my profit plan because I was able to project that out year after year after year, and it made sense to me. And my whole financial infrastructure supports it. And that's why I could grow. So fast forward again to 6 months ago from today. Another call from Amelia. Hannah, this was Hannah. I got confused with another client. And I hear, I have another financial problem. I said, uh-oh, what's happened? Things fell apart. She says, no, I've just sold my business, and I've got $35 million I need to figure out how to invest the right way. I said, you've got what? You've got $35 million now, 5 years later? I said, you have done it. That is awesome. And she said something I'll never forget. She said, no, we've done it. She goes, I couldn't have done it without the profit plan. There's just no way. So one of the things that I know is the scary step from 100,000 to 1 million doesn't have to be that scary. There's something that nobody's talking about, and I don't understand why, and I'm going to start that conversation here today. Everyone needs a profit plan. There's just no way to do business without seeing where you're going, without having something that you can shake and have all the money that's hiding in the couch and in the crevices come out so that you can spend it on growing your business. That's what this is all about. And what I would encourage you to do, I really want everybody in this room to not be terrified by that step, to be able to go from 100,000 over here to 1 million, to look, act, and feel like that grown-up business. So I want to give you a link you can go to. It's called www.grownupbusiness.com. And there's a blueprint there just waiting for you to get to your profit plan. I want everybody to have one of these because the journey really is not as horrible as you might be thinking when it comes to finances. And I'm proving that with my clients over and over again. And I really would like for everybody in this room who has that same dream that a lot of us do, getting from 100,000 to $1 million grown-up business, to land solidly right here. Thanks so much.